Like a lot of people, I've been working from home for a long time now, but it is time. It's time to start going back to work. It's time to start getting ready. I'm planning to start going back into the office in the next month, and I wanted to run through what's my ideal EDC for going back into work. How's it going, folks? My name's Marcus, and welcome back to the channel. On this channel, we talk about EDC, technology, and how those things can help us live productive and happier, balanced lives. We might as well start with this. This is called the Cambridge Satchel Company. It's a leather, very basic leather satchel. It's got a single main opening inside here, and it's got a small front pocket on it. Very, very basic. This is something that I've had for years. I actually picked this up used, but these are about $350 new. I'll put a link in the description below, but I can't recommend these bags enough. It's such a small, all over the shoulder satchel, but absolutely fantastic for bringing just what I need to have this kind of basic home office with me in my backpack. I do pair it with, I have a Bihn neoprene case laptop holder. I'll put a link in the description below as well for that. But I just stick that inside it because things rattle around inside otherwise because there's no separation. That with the neoprene case, I can put my M1 Macbook Pro in there, my 14-inch, nice and snug and not worry about it getting damaged. So my first bit of going back to work kit, my first bit of EDC tech is my 14-inch M1 MacBook Pro. This one is the ridiculous, super powered, ultra beast version. I've gone for the 32 core, 64 gigabytes of RAM, absolutely maxed out, and this thing is a beast, an absolute workhorse. I've got a separate video on this if you're interested in just how much I love this. I've had all the MacBook Pros since they've come out, each version since 2006, and this is a fundamental shift in power. Having this small, super powerful device in your bag, there's nothing that you can't do. The second piece of electronics I use is my iPad. This is an iPad mini. Now I do have various iPads. In fact, the script for this video here, I'm running from my 11-inch iPad Pro, but I choose to bring with me my iPad mini. I think this is version 5. 6 is where they switched over to the new edge-to-edge display. That's on the wish list. I'll probably get that at some stage, but I absolutely love this mini iPad. It's perfect because it's the in-between size between my phone. I carry the iPhone 13 Pro Max in my pocket, which is an absolute workhorse. I love this device. But if you're doing something in between, something where you don't want to take your laptop out, consuming content, reading a book, commuting on a train, something like that, this is the perfect device. It's also the last device where you could put your these screens that just connect with these little magnets on them, as opposed to having the full cover on both front and back. And I just love how minimalist that is. To be able to fold that down, stick it in front of you, you can type on it, you can put it up vertically. I keep it, one of the big things I do when I'm on the go with this is if I want a second monitor, I'll often put this next to my laptop, have my laptop set up, have this as a second monitor, use screen sharing on it, and just have my Slack notifications or my calendar just on view down here while I'm doing my main work, so that I can keep track of the messages as they come in. I work in a tech company in software development, and being up to speed and staying on top of my communications is a big part of my job. So just having that one screen dedicated to that gives me the peace of mind while I'm working on my main laptop. So that goes into the bag. And of course, to go with that, I use the Apple Pencil. This is the Gen 1 Apple Pencil. I have several Apple Pencils, obviously. This is the fully customized, I customize all my stuff. This is the customized Generation 2 that I use with my 11-inch iPad Pro, but I actually prefer the Gen 1 pencils on these. These are classic. It's a little bit of a pain, the kind of charging setup, and that it doesn't magnetize onto the side of the iPad, but honestly, they feel nicer. It's nicely balanced. There's just something about the Gen 1 I really love, and I have this little leather pouch to keep it in, just to keep it classy and to make it go in with the bag that I have. Sticking with note-taking, being a traditionalist, I always bring a notepad with me. This is my favorite notepad. This is my favorite type of paper. This is called the Tomeo River Notebook. It's Japanese writing paper. It's perfect for fountain pens. There's 96 pages in this book, and look at how thin it is. It's uber thin. I love writing. I love, having nice pens. I've got a Mont Blanc I carry with me everywhere, or even just these little uniballs. I carry them everywhere I go because I really like writing, physical writing. If it's something important, if it's something I want to capture, I'll write it down properly in my notebook. And that goes in the bag. Doesn't take up a lot of space, super thin, just slots in. I also use this super minimal, look at this stand, it's absolutely tiny, but I like to use this stand to set up my MacBook so that it's not just resting on the table. It helps me with typing. If I want to get the screen up high for calls so that you don't get that kind of up your nose look. If you want to set your laptop up on this, You can set it up nice and high if you want to. I'll show you how this looks. You can set your laptop up on this and you can still type on the keyboard, or you can use a separate keyboard with it. But for the size of this, it gives me so much versatility. I always keep it in the bag with me because look, it packs down super small. I don't even know it's in there, but when I do need it, it's fantastic to have. So then there's some logistics things I need. I obviously need a power charger. I bring my power brick with me everywhere I go. I actually choose not to bring the MagSafe with me on the new MacBook. What I bring is a USB-C to USB cable, a Thunderbolt 4 cable with me, because it's more versatile. I can charge my MacBook with it. I can also connect other things. I can charge other things. It just, for the sake of having one big long cable, this is more versatile than just having the MagSafe, so I always stick this in the bag with me. Actually, I have a whole cable system. I carry various different cables with me. So I'm used to Donglegate, which was the previous version of MacBook that didn't have the ports on it on the side, but there are still a couple of dongles that I like to carry with me, which make life easier for me. I do have a USB-C to Lightning connector for charging my iPhone. It's nice and short and I can put it right next to my laptop and charge it right there on the spot. Another one that I have is USB to a micro USB for charging headphones. The earphones that I use, unfortunately, are still micro USB, so having to have an extra cable for those, but it's such a small cable, I don't even really notice that I have it. What I do is I carry all those cables in this cable organizer. So this is where I put my iPad when I'm traveling with it. There's a separate pouch for it. So the iPad goes in here to this little pouch on it. I keep a HDMI cable in here for if I'm plugging my laptop into my computer at work. And then I've got all these little cable organizers. So what I do is I take these cables, they each have their own special slot that they go into. It's super quick, or else I wouldn't end up doing it after I use them. And what I have is a little cable organizer with a 2 folding pouch for my iPad. It's incredibly thin, keeps all my cables together and keeps it from rubbing against the MacBook that I have in my bag as well. This is fantastic. Another thing I bring with me everywhere is the Apple Duo. This is the Apple Duo wireless charger. I wear an Apple Watch, and being able to charge your Apple Watch as well as being able to charge my phone at the same time is fantastic. I just plug it straight into my MacBook when I'm charging my MacBook, and what that does means I can have both my devices on charge through my MacBook next to me if I'm staying late in the office or if I have a very long day. I know that I have this and I'll always keep all my devices fully charged. It's not cheap, it's too expensive for what it is, but I have one down here in the garage and I've got one that I bring with me that I travel with. This dirty, nasty, messy one is my travel one. Next thing is my headphones. These are optional. I always have my iPod Pros with me in my pocket with me wherever I go every single day, but these are if I'm getting on BART. These have a much better don't disturb me vibe. I'm definitely listening to my music when I have this on, so it's for people not to talk to me. It's also if I'm doing longer calls or if I really want to listen to music properly. These are just better for that. They have a longer battery life. These are the Quiet Comfort 35s. I have the Quiet Comfort 45s as well. So since then, they brought out the Quiet Comfort 2 35s and they brought out the Quiet Comfort 45s. These are still my favorite. I have the other versions. I have another video on all my audio equipment if you're interested, but these are the best headphones I've ever had in terms of Bluetooth headphones, and I'm going to continue to use these until they stop working. So moving on, I always bring a multi-tool with me wherever I go. I change these out because I have a lot of multi-tools. This is the Leatherman Free P2, the version that they brought out maybe a year ago. It's the magnetized version. I have to say I like it. It feels good in the hands. The pliers is very good. I haven't used it a whole lot. I've used my Leatherman Wave an awful lot more than this, but it feels like the right weight. It's probably too big for me to carry in my pocket. I always carry a knife with me in my pocket. Today I'm carrying my Kershaw. I always bring a Leatherman with me because there's a little bit more versatility in being able to fix things on the go, and that goes into the front pouch of the bag. Even though I do carry a knife with me in my pocket all the time, in my bag I always carry my favorite knife. It's the Benchmade Osborne 940. I absolutely love this knife. I really struggle to justify the expense of it when I bought it. They're way more expensive now than when I bought it. I've had this for a few years, but this is the best knife I've ever owned, and if you're thinking about buying this knife and you can afford it, I would say go for it. There's a strong second-hand used market for it as well. If you use it for a while and you decide it's not for you, again, just the absolute best knife I've ever had. One of the things I stick in the bottom of the bag that just kind of rattles around in there is an Airtag. It helps me if I can't find my backpack or my satchel. I haven't been using it a lot, as you can imagine, because I've not been taking my satchel out a lot with me, but when I go back to the office, this will be in there. I also bring with me external hard drives. This is the Samsung SSD T5. This is the older version. Again, I've customized it and painted it and scraped it up. It's really lasted the test of time, this device. I can't speak highly enough for these. I've got the T7 version as well with the fingerprint fingerprint sensor. I don't really recommend this one. It's super fast. It's twice as fast as my T5, but it's a bit gimmicky with the sensor and I just never got into the habit of using it. The new T7 that I bought that I'm doing most of my projects on stays in the garage here, but it's the T7 without the sensor. And if you're going to get one, I'd say you don't need the fingerprint reader. But this is my portable, bring with me if I'm working on a video edit, if I'm on a train or something like that, and I want to get some work done. I'll always have this in the bag with me so that I can power through some work. Other options, of course, are getting these. I have a bunch of these Lacia storage drives. These are much cheaper. I would say that if you're going to be editing directly from drives, you should probably go for the Samsung T5 or T7 because the transfer rates are just so fast. Whereas on these, the transfer rates are much slower. They're better as backup and storage devices. So if you're going to be editing on your desktop and then you want to just save it to something, these are great for that. They're big, they're rugged, you can bang off things. I drop them all the time. One of the last things I carry is I always carry a power bank with me. This is a Ravpower. It's only a 10,000 milliamp hour power bank, but it's got a USB-C and USB-A on it, which is why I like it. Very basic power bank. I like it because it's slim and long and it can recharge my phone entirely for me when I'm on the go. And then last, it's probably overkill, but at the office at the moment, we don't have individual desks anymore. We're going to be hot desking from desk to desk. So I've chosen to bring my keyboard with me. I'm going to be bringing the Logitech K380. The reason I like this one is it's got 3 Bluetooth options. I can switch quickly between using this keyboard to control my laptop versus my iPad while I'm sitting at my desk. I'm not certain this is going to be my final thing. Bringing keyboards with me is definitely not the future. It's a bit old school, but I'm trying to figure out what the balance is for going back to the office and having a decent desk set up where I can get a lot of work done, and maybe bringing my own keyboard is the future for that. I'll do it a few times and see how it goes. And that's everything I have with me in my Tech EDC satchel for going back to work. It seems like a lot of stuff, but it packs into this really small bag. It's not super heavy, and you have a really powerful office on the go with you with all this gear. I can fix things with my Leatherman. I've got all the cables I need for any of the situations that I'm in. I've got an external charger to keep my devices going. I can even use my external charger to charge my watch and my phone with the Apple Pro Duo. So there's a lot of things I can do here. I've got all these items linked in the description below, and if you're interested in me doing a deep dive in any single one of these things, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to do it. Have a great time. Good luck.